Hello, let's simplify 32x cubed y squared minus 2x y to the power of 6 completely. So first, I'm going to copy the expression. I'm going to copy it and write it down here. Okay. So when you have expressions like this, you look through each term in the expression to see if there are some common factors. In this case, we just have two terms in the expression. So if you look at the term, the first term, which is 32x cubed y squared, and the other term, which is 2xy to the power of 6, 2 is common, so I can pull out a 2. And then in the first term, I'm going to be left with 16. And in the second term, I'm just going to be left with 1, right? And if you look at x cubed in the first term and x in the second term, I can pull out an x. In the first term, I'm going to be left with x squared. And in the second term, I'm going to be left with just 1. Okay. And let's look at the first term again, which is we have y squared there, and in the second term we have y to the power of 6. So in this case, I can actually pull out a y squared. So in the first term, I'm going to be left with 1, and in the second term, I'm going to be left with y to the power of 4. Okay, and you can always verify if your factoring is correct or is optimal by just multiplying back. And when you multiply the right hand side, you should get back the left hand side. So I'm going to write this as 2xy squared 16x squared minus y to the power of 4. Okay, so the question says we should simplify completely. So this is not yet complete. This is not yet complete. How can I simplify the term, the expression in parentheses, 16x squared minus y to the 4? How can I do that? Let's think about that for a moment. Okay, let's use, I'm going to write it by the side, use difference of squares. We can use difference of squares. Difference of squares. And this states that a squared minus b squared is equal to a plus b, a minus b. So I'm going to put this in a different color. Okay, so we can use the difference of squares. So, but to use the difference of squares, I need to rewrite that expression in parentheses in a form that looks like the difference of squares. So how can I rewrite that? So I'm going to have 2xy squared 4 square x squared minus y squared squared. So 16 is 4 square, right? And y to the power of 4, I can write it as y squared squared. And using the rule of exponents, this is going to be, I can rewrite 4 square x squared as 4x all square minus y square square. Okay. So this now is in the form of difference of squares, which is a square minus b square, right? So in this case, if you compare the expression I have here, if you compare this expression with this, if you compare this expression here, this one I'm underlining, with this one here, I can say my a is going to be 4x, and my b is going to be y squared, right? So I can now apply the difference of squares. So I have 2xy squared, we'll leave that there. And the difference of squares says I have a plus b in parentheses and a minus b in parentheses. So my a is what? My a is 4x plus b is y squared in parentheses, and I have 4x minus y squared in parentheses. And that's it. That's the simplification of that expression. So I'm going to go over it again one more time. So I want to simplify 32x cubed y squared minus 2x y to the power of 6 completely. So what I did was I looked through the expression, each term in the expression, to see if there are some common factor. And I found that 2xy squared is common to both terms. So I factored that out, but I actually did it step by step initially. So when I factor that out, I got 2xy squared in parentheses 16x squared minus y to the power of 4. So the question says I should simplify completely. So I can still simplify 16x squared minus y squared. I can still simplify because I can rewrite 16 as 4 squared, and I can rewrite y to the power of 4 as y squared square, right? So, and I rewrote 4 square x squared as 4x square in parentheses square using the rule of exponents. And then I was able to apply the difference of squares, which is a square minus b square is equal to a plus b in parentheses times a minus b in parentheses. And I just applied the difference of squares and I got that. And that's the simplification. Thank you. I hope this was helpful.